Dundee head to Lanarkshire and Broadwood today, knowing that a win today will relegate today's hosts Clyde. However, to do that, they're going to have to win at Broadwood for only the second time in their history. That last win coming in 2007, goals from Paul McHale and David O'Brien. And one of those players returns to the starting lineup today. David O'Brien coming in, one of three changes to the Dundee side. Chris Poznak, Antoine Courier suspended, and Eric Payton all dropping out. The other two inclusions, David Cowan and Brian Deasley. Despite only one league win for Dundee here at Broadwood, Dundee fans will remember a quick-fire hat-trick from Italian international Fabrizio Ravanelli. That came in the CIS Cup. And a quick-fire hat-trick today in the region of 10 minutes will go down very nicely at the start of this game. But today's hosts, Clyde, they'll be well up for this, knowing that 3 points needed to keep their place in this division, and with their well-publicised financial woes, it could be more than their first division survival they're fighting for. And Dundee is a case of the walking wounded as well. Giorgio Ephraim recovering from a knock to keep his place in the starting lineup today. However, Dundee will be relieved to have the Cypriot international in the team. Now, physical tussle going over there at the side with Willie McLaren. He got sent off in the last meeting here at Broadwood. That physical challenge, though, was enough to win the free kick, though. And Clyde will fancy the chance of pumping a long one into the box and trying to get off the mark early on. Greg Tardy, the big man in the area, aimed at him, can't get ahead on it. It's head of the way. And Colin McMenamin almost taken down McLennan. He works the ball out wide to Gemmell, though, and punted away into that stand on the far side. Sparse travelling support coming down from Dundee, but they'll be giving their team the vocal backing, knowing that win will take them higher up the table, and with that more prize money. Deasley just doing enough to win the free kick, and coming in for his first start since Christmas, Brian Deasley, and he'll be eager to show Jockey Scott just what he can do. Yet to secure a new contract, Brian Deasley. He's fighting for his place in the Dundee team, and with the extended budget for next season, a goal for him would be enough to possibly secure his place in that improved Dundee team for next year. Clark tries to nod it around the corner and can't get onto it. And the slag back header comes back to Brian Deasley. He'll go for goal, but it's snapped right across the face, and that's not going to get his second league goal of the season. And David Hutton gladly watching that one go wide. Hutton with the long ball down the field. Cowan back in the team today, trying to get in the end of it, punting it away. And this time he's offside, Willie McLaren. The ball just deflecting off Cowan's head as he jumped for it. Cowan aimed at McMenamin, headed away though, and now McLennan can set Pat Clark running at Jim Laughlin. Jim Laughlin not blessed with pace, and Pat Clark still challenging with the big central defender. But the assistant referee it was, who flagged on the far side, gives a free kick, and Dundee get restarted quickly. Malone. Now Darren Young. A long ball down the pitch, trying to set David O'Brien running into the corner kick. But Mark Brown punts it high into the stand and lashed this defender from Clyde. Clears their lines again. Malone trying to find an option from the throw in. Darren Young giving him the option now. Opens up the space, and Shinney gets turned well and finds it to Malone. McMenamin and Deasley waiting for a cross in the box. Shinney though can't get round the back of Greg Tardy, and Clyde win the throw in on the far side. The space opening up in the near side for Ruby McLennan it is. Running into it. And Jojo Ephraim coming across, challenging with Waddle. Trying to win the ball off him. Still fighting though, down in the corner. Jojo Ephraim just nicks it off the feet in the Cypriot International. Almost having the chance to stretch his leg, but the space closed down in front of him and forced to give the ball back to Clyde. Now McLaren turning around Darren Young and really running at the Dundee defence now. Willie McLaren, a little through ball aimed at Kettlewell, but cleared away. Now Deasley trying to hold up the ball and just going back to Darren Young. And Brian Deasley showed good strength there. He's obviously not the most physically blessed player in the Dundee team today, but playing his job there, holding up the ball. And in the end, a through ball there from Jojo Ephraim, just harmlessly running into the building site behind the goal. And Clyde, who once had aspirations of a 10,000 seater stadium here at Broadwood, now sacrificing that area behind the goal to the right for new building development. Obviously the 10,000 seater requirement being dropped by the SPL, the 8,000 here at Broadwood being enough. But instead of aiming for the SPL, they're aiming to survive in Division 1. McMenamin just knocking that too far ahead of him. And 5 goals this season for Colin McMenamin. He's done enough to earn himself a new deal at Dundee. He'll be taking his place in the Dundee lineup next season. And Ephraim, he's found Brian Deasley just standing on the ball and losing possession, but it's recovered through Shinnie and works it out to the left-hand side to Eddie Malone. Deasley taken from behind, but great challenge by Mark Brown. But then a slack pass, and now McMenamin fires in the shots, deflected on its way through, but it's gone right through to David Hutton in the Clyde goal. And Dundee trying to test David Hutton from distance, what they didn't do last weekend against St Johnstone. Alan Main hardly tested in the whole game, just a few back passes to deal with. And they'll be looking to test the keeper today. Clark tries to work it out to Greg Tardy on the near side, but too high. And Dundee have possession back with the throw in. Shinnie just lets the ball roll across him and working it into space. And Andrew Shinnie probably be a bit disappointed not to be included in the Scotland B squad for the game here in midweek. Scoring for the under-21s in the last international gathering. Not included in the B squad for the game against Northern Ireland in midweek, the on-loan Rangers midfielder. And another poor touch from Colin McMenamin, who's not had the greatest start to this game. And fancy footwork from Greg Tardy, almost working in Willie McLaren on the far side, but pass not up to the quick-fire footwork. Clark couldn't get up for the header, and 14 goals for Pat Clark this season, only 2 since Christmas. And the man who fired Clyde to First Division safety last season, not hitting the mark since Christmas. Mark Brown just jumping over Colin McMenamin, who's yet to get involved in the game. Now Malone. And McMenamin trying to work the ball over to Andrew Shinnie, jumping up for the header now. Now Ephraim. And Malone with a slack pass. Now Scott Gemmell can come away. And Darren Young blocking the ball on his way through. Higgins with a poor touch, and Brian Deasley closing him down all the way. And now the ball comes through to Greg Tardy. Skipping past Kyle Benedictus, but too far ahead of Greg Tardy there, the big man from France, who's played for a few clubs in Scotland. Finally finding his place with a full-time club here at Clyde, formerly with Stranraer. And he'll jump for this ball again, this time leaving it to Ricky Waddle. Now Ephraim. And Waddle will come away with it for Clyde. Chip ball over the top, and Pat Clark is offside. The flag goes up on the far side. Now Loughlin. Just shimmying one way then the other. And the chip ball forward. Scott Gemmell will have to deal with it. A little touch to the side and he'll try and keep it in play, but it rolls out. And Scott Gemmell just trips on the advertising hoarding on the far side, but guess Dundee back in the game. Young. Just sizing up his options. Now Shinnie. And O'Brien just letting it go wide and trying to work it into space. Now FM and David Cowan, plenty of space to run into here. McMenamin and Deasley in the box. The ball in from Cowan. Cleared away, but Cowan will try and get it back in through the head of Mark Brown, though clears it away, and McLaren completes the job long and high into the box. Now Malone. And Dundee looking comfortable in the ball so far, happy to probe away at this Clyde defence, and the slow and patient route that they took last week against St Johnstone didn't produce any goals, and it was the urgency going forward that Dundee lacked last week, and this week from the opening 10 minutes we've had here, looks like Dundee going for the same route and Clyde playing for their first division survival. They'll be having all the urgency going forward, and they'll be desperate to get the win. Anything other than a win won't be enough with Airdrie's superior goal difference. Now Cowan just forced to hold up with McLaren coming across to close down the angle, and Giorgio Ephraim striding around the outside of Ricky Waddle and throwing himself on the ground. And the effort shown by Ephraim there, enough to win the free kick. He'll take it himself. The referee just forcing him near the touchline with the free kick. Loughlin and Benedictus off in the back as a poor free kick by Ephraim, knocked away by Waddle, and now McLaren tries to complete the job. And McLennan coming forward, and Benedictus slides in there on Willie McLaren, and only the 11th start in Kyle Benedictus's early career here at Dens Park, and he's shown to be played as a real future at Dens Park if he continues the way he's playing. Down on the corner kick on the far side, Benedictus forcing the ball out for a corner kick, and Clyde will throw some of the big men forward. Higgins, Brown and Lithgow all going forward, and Greg Tardy as well, a threat from set pieces, and the ball almost coming through there to Lithgow. Missed the header, and Rob Douglas will claim it at the far post. Now Malone. Loughlin again with time to just size up the options in front of him. A run made by McMenamin into the corner, and a great ball by Jim Loughlin. He's found him on the far side. Alan Lithgow coming across, just nips the ball off him, and Colin McMenamin just limps away. May have just taken a slight knock, but he's running it off. And that's the last thing Jockey Scott needs at the moment. Antoine Curier's 3-game ban. It means he's out for the season. And injury to any more of these Dundee strikers. They're a bit thin on the ground when it comes to strikers. And Dundee would be struggling with attacking options. Tardy tries to nod it out to Scott Gemmell on the far side, but it's getting the angles wrong. And Brian Deasley has run down here between Higgins and Lithgow, and he's kept the ball alive in the corner kick, but only settling for the throw-in. Malone over on the far side, looking for options from the throw-in. Brian Deasley comes short to give him one now. Now he'll try and get the ball over from the corner kick. Takes a deflection on his way through though. David Hutton has a look over at the referee. He's not sure about it, but again, Jim Loughlin and Kyle Benedictus They'll troop forward, try and get their head on a corner kick, which they've yet to do this season. Only Eric Payton getting a goal from a corner kick this season. And Jojo Ephraim looked to swing this one in, going high to the back post, and Jim Laughlin it was who went up with David Hutton, but good hands from David Hutton, holding on to the ball safely. Clark just got up there ahead of Benedictus, just out-muscling the young defender. And Douglas looks long, and Colin McMenamin can't get his head in the ball. Clark tries to bring McLennan into the play. Just a subdued atmosphere around Broadwood this afternoon. And Clyde fans maybe just a bit tense, keeping one eye on the score from Partick Thistle's game against Airdrie, knowing that a goal for Partick Thistle will help their survival chances no end. So a win today would take them to just within 1 point at the bottom. And McMenamin can't get up there ahead of Chris Higgins, and Brian Deasley might get there just ahead of David Hutton, but he's just not tall enough. Brian Deasley reaching with his toes to try and nip it past the Clyde goalkeeper. Not this time though. Brian Deasley still searching for that second goal this season. And Willie McLeod just dipping and running past the Kyle Benedictus, getting the ball across, and Greg Tardy almost guiding the pass Rab Douglas, but Rab Douglas, the Scotland international keeper, diving to his left, holding on to the ball, and Greg Tardy knows that more power behind that one would have had the beating of the Scotland international. And it's heart in the mouth time for Dundee and for Clyde. They can't afford to miss chances like that. The Gemmell just nipping the ball away if David O'Brien running in behind him. The pause and play as the ball person retrieves the ball from an unused part of the stand. There's always a problem with disused stand. The ball goes high into it, can't recover it. Malone tries to chip it over David Hutton, and almost catching the Clyde goalkeeper out in his far post. Across it, looped over. Hutton was watching it all the way there, but almost caught off his guard. And freak goal like that is the kind of one that drops in for you at the wrong end of the table. It's the kind of goals that have been going in for St Johnstone this season. O'Brien will take the corner kick, sliced away off the right boots, and it goes behind for another corner kick off Ricky Waddle. O'Brien tries to get in again, goes all the way through. There's no one on the edge of the box trying to get it back in for Dundee. Now Shinnie. And Brian Deasley taken down late there. And it's going to be a free kick to Dundee, and Eric Payton, he's out with it for the season now. 2 free kick goals for him this season without him on the pitch. It'll be interesting to see who's going to take this one. Jojo Ephraim has taken free kicks earlier on this season. Eddie Malone as well scored that free kick against Huntly last season in the Scottish Cup. And they'll work it out between them here. Nice range, probably favouring the left-footed angle of Eddie Malone. The referee just keeping the wall back. Ephraim, he'll go for goal, and it's over the bar from Jojo Ephraim. He doesn't add to his tally for the season. And never really on target. Struggling to get the ball back down again after getting it up over the wall. Remains goalless at Broadwood. Hutton, this time the ball just hanging up in the wind as it comes down there, and Tardy couldn't get in the end of it. Two Dundee players going for the same ball there between Benedictus and Young, and they get lucky in the end. The flag goes up for offside on the far side, but Dundee players getting themselves in a bit of confusion there. Both of them going for the same ball, and lucky that nothing serious came of it. Now Malone. And Brian Deasley again running down into the corner kick, but it hits him on the back of the head, and Mark Brown recovers well, and he'll just slag past there, and just kept the ball in. They had to slide in though to keep the ball for Clyde. Now O'Brien. He's running with Mark Brown into the corner kick, but again Mark Brown has to slide in, and this time the ball does go out for a throw into Dundee. Malone. And Brian Deasley came running across from the edge of the penalty area. Decides not to use him. He'll use him now though. He's got it back now, Brian Deasley. And a looping cross, and Colin McMenamin jumps with David Hutton again. And again, Clyde keeper holds on and keeps his clean sheet. Gemmell unchallenged, and Pat Clark almost holding on to it. Ricky Waddle brave there going in with Giorgio Ephraim. Ephraim had his boot high, but brave play from Ricky Waddle, and he keeps the ball for Clyde. And Andrew Shinney concedes the throw in the near side. Chris Higgins across to take it. Waddle will just lay it back to him and gets the ball across, and it might come down for Scott Gemmell, but Malone heads it clear. Now Deasley trying to get turned and running at this Clyde defence, but hasn't had the chance so far in the game. He might get the chance now running at Brown, but Mark Brown, former Rangers youth player, hoofs it away. Tardy just knocks the ball up into the air, and Pat Clark can't keep a hold of it, and Jim Laughlin fires his boot through it again, getting as far away from that danger area as possible. Now Deasley. Now Malone just working it all the way over to the near side. I thought he was aiming for David Cowan there. It'll come through for Cowan in the end off Giorgio Ephraim. Benedictus just lets it run by him, and Dundee keep possession. And Ephraim, he's just run off Ricky Waddle here. Giorgio Ephraim turns and takes a snapshot at David Hutton, and David Hutton gets his hands and touches over the bar, and Giorgio Ephraim head in his hands there as he turned away. He knows that was a golden opportunity, running in there, bearing down on David Hutton. Couldn't get his angles quite right, and he'll go across to take the corner kick. Malone and Laughlin. Benedictus also in the box. And Ephraim might come through at the far post to Eddie Malone. It does now. He's still got the ball. Eddie Malone tries and squares it, and comes off the shins of Greg Tardy and goes out all the way to this near side for a throw in down right near the corner flag. Andrew Shinney just making his way across to take it. Now McMenamin. Now Shinney with a high ball over. Laughlin's still up there in the box. And McLennan gets it away. Tardy just bundling Giorgio Ephraim out of the way. The young Cypriot not standing a chance against the big Frenchman, Greg Tardy. Shinney just can't quite carry the ball with him through there with Greg Tardy. Now McMenamin and Dundee stumbling forward more than creating a attacking move. And then McLennan tries to get Scott Gemmell in with his pace down the wing. Doesn't come through from him, and David O'Brien bundled over on the far side, but it'll just be a throw into Dundee. Ruby McLennan getting his foot around the ball and taking it out for a throw in. Now Loughlin showing some silky footwork, appreciated by the Dundee fans on the far side. And he'll get a chance to show off again. Now Cowan. It's forced back the way by Willie McLaren, working hard and closing down all over the pitch. And Cowan again. And Dundee stringing the passes together here, and in the end, Stuart Kettlewell bundles over Andrew Shinney in the centre of the park and concedes a free kick. Cowan. And Colin McMenamin, little chip over to the far side with Brian Deasley, who tries and works the ball back to his striking partner, but it's a poor ball back across and is fired away into this main stand, and it'll be a throw into Dundee. Dundee again going for the slow and patient routes, slicking the passes together. But again, not with the urgency that you might expect from a title-chasing team, which of course Dundee aren't. O'Brien just fighting with Scott Gemmell there on the far side. Of 50-50 ball, says the referee, and Scott Gemmell just clears it away, not really aimed at anyone. Pat Clark doesn't have the pace to run on the end of that one, and Jim Loughlin throws it back to Rab Douglas. Brian Deasley may have the pace here to get in behind Mark Brown, but may have the pace. Doesn't have the physical attributes to match them. Loughlin strides forward and takes Greg Tardy and almost David O'Brien with him with that header, but hasn't done much as Kettlewell's got possession with Clyde. He's given it away though. Now Shinney. Dundee players running forward with Andrew Shinney here, and he's hauled back by Rui McLennan, and it could be a card here for the Clyde midfielder, and indeed it is. The card brandished at the Clyde midfielder, and that's the first booking of the match for Rui McLennan. And Dundee had options there running forward through the midfield. Andrew Shinney had the ball but had runners to his left and his right. A real attacking opportunity for Dundee. And Dundee have the free kick midway inside the Clyde half. Giorgio Ephraim and Darren Young will try and work some magic here. Kyle Benedictus is up from the back, and Ephraim will aim it at Colin McMenamin. And it was almost a striker goal more than anything else from Giorgio Ephraim, but wasn't really testing David Hutton. Certainly not aimed at a Dundee player. Disappointing outcome to that set piece opportunity. Robbie Winters just warming up down in front. Clark nods it on, and Tardy will try and nod the ball on again for Willie McLaren, and touched by Jim Loughlin. Rab Douglas scurrying across his goal to keep it in play, stop from conceding the corner kick. Lithgow fires it back towards that Dundee right hand side, but this time Willie McLaren, he's offside, says the referee on the far side. Again, Dundee concede possession from the long ball forward. And Chris Higgins down there right underneath this main stand slices it back in play and nods it back out again. It'll be a throw into Dundee. And Colin McMenamin taken from behind by Higgins. And Andrew Shinney will have the opportunity here to swing one in on top of David Hutton. The Dundee big men stroll forward. And yet to test David Hutton from these crossing opportunities. He's had to claim the ball a few times, but not been forced into a save. Shinney swings it in and it's headed away at the near post by Waddle, and Scott Gemmell completes it, the clearance. Shinney though wins it back off McLennan. Tardy trying to close down Shinney, but Shinney will take the strike at goal from miles out though, and David Hutton watches that one right into his arms, and that won't challenge him. Hefty challenge there by Scott Gemmell on Eddie Malone. It was the kind of one that a clash of heads would have seen a serious injury. As it is though, two committed players going fairly for the ball. Now Young, he loses out, and McLennan with a chip ball forward looking for Willie McLaren. Doesn't quite get his angles right, and it rolls right through to Rab Douglas. Now Malone just fires it into the side of Ruben McLennan though. Shinney sidestepping his way forward before being brought down again by McLennan. And McMenamin lets that run through for Brian Deasley, who's got the pace to run over there to the far side, but not enough pace as it turns out. Concedes the goal kick to Clyde. And that's what Dundee have to do, try and work in Brian Deasley with his pace. Now McLaren trying to work in Ricky Waddle with his pace down on the inside. FM being forced back all the way, and Ricky Waddle working hard and running into the box and squaring it for Greg Tardy. This time blocked by Jim Laughlin. Handballs the cry from the fans, but as it is, it's cleared away. And now that's got the Clyde fans up from their seats. Now Gemmell trying to work in Greg Tardy again. And Darren Young brought down on the far side, but again Greg Tardy with a chance for Clyde, this time blocked. Gemmell steps forward and takes the ball off the feet of David O'Brien. Now Laughlin. Tardy will work it around the corner for Willie McLaren, who's offside again, and that flag's been going up very often in this first half for Willie McLaren. And he'll have to watch his runs in the second half. Mark Brown just sliding in there, taking the ball away from Brian Deasley. And instead of recovering the ball, a new one fired over. Now McMenamin. And just being forced backwards. Malone, a high ball over David Hutton, almost losing it in the air, and Ricky Waddle not take any chances. Giorgio Ephraim lurking behind him. Concedes the corner kick, but could have been worse. And David O'Brien coming over to the near side to take it left-footed. Headed out of danger by Scott Gemmell, though, again, not finding a Dundee head from the corner kick. Now Waddle David O'Brien there closing down Ricky Waddle all the time, getting the shout though, turning away from danger, and the ball comes off Benedictus and almost went through for Pat Clark, but a poor touch from Pat Clark himself. I'm not sure if he was suspecting it. The ball just deflects back to Kyle Benedictus, who now finds himself in a duel with Greg Tardy. Tardy coming out on top this time. Now Waddle stepping inside. Giorgio Ephraim still going forward. Ricky Waddle. Now Tardy battling with Benedictus. And it's got very scrappy and tight down on the near side. And in the end, Giorgio Ephraim going to ground, winning the free kick again. And referee just having a quick word with Stuart Kettlewell. And in fact, it's going to be more than a quick word with Stuart Kettlewell. Word in the ear. And Cowan just launches that one forward at the Dundee strike team of McMenamin and Deasley. McMenamin stayed down from the aerial challenge though. Shinney, well, just holding the play up now. Referee Alan Muir just checking he's all right. Looks like he took a knock on the back of the head as he jumped up for the ball from the free kick. McMenamin just making his way off the pitch now. Just going to shake off the knock, maybe just knock to the back of the head and run it off until half time. And Clyde give the ball back. Douglas fires it forward and Colin McMenamin thought about going up for it and left it to Brian Deasley. Now Shinney, but Greg Tardy sliding in well, claiming the ball, but couldn't recover for the second touch, and Andrew Shinney still with possession for Dundee. Chip forward and Colin McMenamin forcing Chris Higgins, play it away. McLaren trying to work it around the corner for Pat Clark, and indeed it does come through to Pat Clark. Darren Young keeps it in play on the near side, and Deasley nods it down to Colin McMenamin. David O'Brien making the run on the left hand side, but Colin McMenamin goes all the way back to Eddie Malone. Now it is David O'Brien. Now Young. And Cowan swinging the ball in there on David Hutton, but Colin McMenamin just too far behind David Hutton, couldn't get the header on the ball. Benedictus with his arms all around Willie McLaren there. No free kick. And Benedictus wins the physical challenge. Chip forward, looking for Pat Clark running into the area, but Rab Douglas steps out and claims the ball over Pat Clark. The man who will be looking to get out of this goal drought. Only 2 goals since Christmas. And 14 in all competitions, so 12 before. Only 2 since, and that just shows the way that his season and Clyde's has gone in the second half. Alan Lithgow there, not really sure with where he was. Nodding the ball, not really anywhere in particular. It's come out of play though, on the near side. David Cowan across to take it. Now Deasley. Now Giorgio Ephraim, who such a threat when he first joined Dundee with his pace running down the wing. He's not had the opportunity though in this first half. But when he does get the opportunity, be sure he'll be putting the Clyde defence under pressure. Deasley fighting down in the corner with Kettlewell. Losing out though. And Pat Clark running in behind Jim Laughlin. And now Rab Douglas forced to play the ball and doesn't get a good contact on it, but gets it away, and that's the most important thing. Now Benedictus. The ball just bobbling through, and now Giorgio Ephraim might get the chance to run at this Clyde defence. Tardy just holding him up, and Ephraim forced to go backwards. Now Cowan Cowan just knocks the ball off the shins of Ricky Waddle. Now Shinnie. And Shinnie's forced backwards as well by Kettlewell. Lachlan plays it all the way back to Rab Douglas. The ball just bobbles through, and Douglas watched his touch and knocked it away. Now Waddle. Now McLaren. McLaren will get the ball across, but there's no one there though. And Jim Lachlan didn't get the shout. Pat Clark had given up on it, and Jim Lachlan fires it away. Concedes a corner kick, and there wasn't really anyone putting him under much pressure. Didn't get the shout though. Safety first though from the experienced defender. Be a corner kick to Clyde. McLaren has gone across to take the corner kick, and sliding in there, Stuart Kettlewell couldn't get any power behind the strike though, and Jim Lachlan deflected it away. Now Malone. Now Darren Young, and space opening down the near side for Dundee, but there's nobody in it. Darren Young forced to go backwards, and it's a shrug of the shoulders from Darren Young. He didn't know where he was going there. Didn't have any support. Had to go back to Rab Douglas, keep the ball for Dundee. And can't concede. If you've got the ball, that's been Dundee's philosophy in this first half. Just happy to keep the ball with short passes across the back. Now Shinnie. Now Malone. And Malone running forward. He'll take the strike, a goal, Eddie Malone, but it's deflected wide. And it'll be a goal kick. That's not deflected at all, just swung wide of the Clyde far post. Gemmell trying to work some space on the ball behind Pat Clark as he ran forward there. The McMenamin holding the ball up, and Brian Deasley gets in the end of it. Back with McMenamin now. Deasley makes his way into the box. A great sliding challenge though from Chris Higgins. Oh, he's not won the throw in though. He's quite happy to let the ball roll out. Chris Higgins though, he's made the mistake. He's gifted the ball back to Dundee. A great sliding challenge though. Just a bit casual though in the follow up. McMenamin happy to take the throw in, while he's left it now to David Cowan. McMenamin wanting to get in the box. And Cowan not being presented with any opportunities. McMenamin goes down under the challenge from Tardy, and Kettlewell comes away with it. Chip forward, Pat Clark trying to challenge Jim Lachlan, and Jim Lachlan forced backwards, and Pat Clark goes right on top of him and gets away, and Jim Lachlan, Rab Douglas again forced to clear the ball away and make the play, and the ball bobbling through there on the Clyde surface behind the goal to the left, and Rab Douglas forced to watch his touch on a couple of occasions. That time though, slicing the ball out on the near side, the ball not going out of play. And you just think Dundee keep doing that, Rab Douglas might be caught with an awkward bounce on the Broadwood surface. Cowan not getting it away, and Dundee just bouncing around the penalty area, but in the end Colin McMenamin puts his boot through it and gets it away. Now Ephraim challenging with Kettlewell, but Kettlewell last ditch nips the ball off the feet of Jojo Ephraim, gets it away. Now Malone. And now Shinnie jinking inside, trying to find some space. Now Deasley can't get turned, and he's being held up there, the ball being caught between the legs of the Clyde midfielder, and the referee's given the free kick. Brian Deasley trying to kick the ball out of between the legs of Alan Lithgow, and the ball wasn't moving. The referee's given the free kick for Dundee. Andrew Shinnie this time standing over it. Giorgio Ephraim had that strike earlier on in the match. Got the ball up over the wall, and this time Andrew Shinney might just be touched the side. And indeed going to be Andrew Shinney taking the free kick, and it's deflected wide, and it's going to be a corner kick to Dundee. O'Brien swings it in, left footed. Jim Loughlin though can't get his head in the ball, and the ball might drop here to Giorgio Ephraim. Just nods it out to the side, and McMenamin works it all the way back out here to David O'Brien. He's done enough to win the free kick in the near side. Now Deasley, and Ricky Waddle comes across and knocks the ball out for the throw in. Let's move into stoppage time here at Broadwood. And FM with a poor touch, and it just rolls behind for the goal kick. And I can't imagine there'll be too much in the way of stoppage time here at Broadwood. Colin McMenamin just picking up a slight head knock, the only real stoppage we've had. And a match that's seen a decent chances for both sides. Giorgio Ephraim with a strike on the turn right at David Hutton, but Hutton forced to make the save. And now Shinney coming forward, Ephraim making the run outside him. Shinney opts to go into the box with Colin McMenamin, and Mark Brown sticks to his task and clears the ball away. And that is indeed half-time. The strike for Giorgio Ephraim, right at David Hutton, tipped over the bar, but Clyde have had the best two chances of the match. Gregory Tardy twice testing Rab Douglas. First time Rab Douglas forced to make the save, the other time the ball deflected away before Douglas got on the end of it. But half-time, it's goalless, 0-0. Malone fires it away now. McMenamin trying to work it onto the run of Deasley. And Lithgow goes across the cover, and Andrew Shinney might fancy stretching his legs here against Stuart Kettlewell. Forced out wide though, and Ricky Waddle goes across the cover, and Shinney still challenging, and this time the ball just runs through to the gloves of David Hutton. And no changes by either side at half time. Now Cowan. Now FM being forced backwards. Now Shinney finding Giorgio FM though, getting turns, and thought Shinney had continued his run, but Shinney back at the halfway line, and the ball just rolls out of play rather harmlessly. And Clyde know that still being goalless at Firhill, still goalless with Airdrie. And Giorgio Ephraim winning the ball, but Clyde know that Airdrie still goalless there, a win for them. They can close the gap back to 2 points, even with Airdrie drawing. Still keep it alive going into the last day of the season, fighting for that playoff spot. Now Shinney. And Shinney almost taking the head off Darren Young, but it's come through to Eddie Malone. Now Loughlin firing it forward, and Brian Deasley comes short but loses out in the challenge with Anna Lithgow. Young wins it back though. Now Malone. Down into the corner with David O'Brien. Scott Gemmell forcing him down all the way. And now the ball goes out. And Malone trying to find an option from the throw on Dundee all season. You would think that a throw in, pretty routine part of the match. But Dundee all season been struggling to keep the ball from throw-ins. Loughlin keeps it in play down on the near side and chipped forward by Kettlewell. Now McLaren. Now Benedictus. And Benedictus still continues with his run forward. Comes off the head of Kettlewell and deflects out of play for free kick, throw-in, sorry. Now Deasley. And now Loughlin. And a wild kick by Loughlin. Fired high and there. Cowan might keep it in play on the far side, but he settles for the throw-in. Cowan trying to get the play restarted quickly, but didn't fancy any of the options. Now Ephraim, but he's up against two Clyde players there in that far side, and Chris Higgins sliding in there, takes the ball away from the Cypriot international. Now Shinnie works it onto Ephraim, and Ephraim will go for goal, and Ephraim, well, he was distant with his effort from the free kick earlier on today, and that has beaten his earlier effort for wide of the mark. Managed to test David Hutton, the only Dundee player to test David Hutton today with that strike on the turn from the angle, tipped over the bar. And it's a case of try again for Jojo Ephraim. 2 goals already in his time at Dens. And Deasley kept it alive in the centre of the park. Kettlewell though sliding in, and Shinnie can't continue with his run, and he's halted right away. And Shinnie took a throw in there as he had the ball robbed off him by Stuart Kettlewell. Now here's Gemmell for Clyde. Pat Clark making the run forward, but a last-ditch interception from Jim Loughlin, and Pat Clark knew he was off well. William McLaren knew Pat Clark was offside. I'm not sure if Pat Clark knew, but Jim Loughlin there with a crucial interception. They're stopping the ball getting through to the Clyde front man. He may only have 2 goals since Christmas, but 14 in all. He's certainly a threat in front of goal. And Colin McMenamin penalised for the challenge on the Clyde defence. Mark Brown will lump this one long, and they're all gathering up front for Clyde, all on the edge of that Dundee penalty area. And it's going to be a punt forward by Mark Brown, trying to aim for the big man in the Dundee defence. All runs out, and Greg Tardy all alone challenging Rab Douglas, and the offside flag didn't go up. And Dundee caught out there with the offside trap. And if had been a bit shorter, perhaps Greg Tardy could have tested Rab Douglas even more. Cowan looking long. Lithgow comes over there, just boots it away. And Eddie Malone will have a challenge here to try and keep it in play. Does just that though, and keeps it in play with a second attempt. Now McLaren. And Tardy just works over and gets the ball back from Stuart Kettlewell here, Greg Tardy. Referee plays advantage though. Well, in fact, he's brought it back now. Referee Alan Muir, first of all, giving advantage there to Greg Tardy as he ran forward, then hauling the play back. And there's a case of referee not being able to make his mind up there from the decision. Stuart Kettlewell back on his feet though, and just feeling his leg there. He's okay now though. Higgins looks long, and Pat Clark can't get his head in the ball now. Tardy challenging, and it's an overhead kick in the end. And Rab Douglas forced to touch the ball over the bar, and it certainly was one that tested Rab Douglas. Clark with the acrobatics. Rab Douglas though, the Scotland international keeper, equal to the challenge though. That's done enough to get the Clyde fans going for the first time in the second half. McLaren goes over with the corner kick, and I think it's gone right the way in for Willie McLaren, direct from the corner. And that really does have the Clyde fans going now. The Clyde players running all the way over to Willie McLaren. I don't think it took a touch on the way through, but Rab Douglas beating at the near post. And Willie McLaren, he got the goal against Dundee earlier on in the season, against Dundee at Broadwood. And Clyde know that could be a vital goal in the fight to beat First Division safety. Beat the drop. That's chipped forward by McLennan, and Clyde could be in again there with Pat Clark, but a last-ditch challenge again from Jim Laughlin. Been so crucial this season with his last-ditch challenges. What he doesn't make up with his pace, he certainly makes up with his tackling. And twice already in the game, last-ditch challenges. Blocking the ball from getting through to the Clyde attack and restricting it to just one so far. Kettlewell. And he's gone back to McLaren now, the man who swung in that corner kick that led to the Clyde goal. Now McLennan. And Scott Gemmels, I wonder what a goal will do for Clyde as they continue to go forward. Look so much more confident with the ball going forward now. One goal for them, and it looks like one going on two. Looks like they've got much more penetration. Much more determination as well going forward. Lithgow try a long throw here. Scott Gamble is in the near post. It's aimed at Tardy though, and it comes off Eddie Malone. It's going to be a corner kick to Clyde. And Willie McLaren again comes over to take it. It was his delivery that led to the goal for Clyde. And Dundee's terrible run at Broadwood looks like continuing, going to the far post this time. Nobody there though. Alan Lithgow coming in late, but too strong though for the Clyde defender. And Rab Douglas doesn't concede from the corner this time. We're saying own goal. Own goal, eh? Gemmell with great header on the ball there, and Willie McLaren touches it around the back of Eddie Malone, but Eddie Malone recovers and knocks the ball out for a throw-in, but Willie McLaren full of running there as he bore down on Eddie Malone. Scott Gemmell with a terrific header, powering his head right through the ball, firing it back forward, putting Clyde on the front foot. And Lithgow again tries to put Clyde on the front foot again with a long throw. Tardy challenging with Jim Laughlin. Doesn't go out to play this time as Scott Gemmell goes down after challenging with David O'Brien, and the assistant referee on the near side has given the free kick to Dundee, penalising Scott Gemmell for the physical challenge. And the play will start. The Dundee free kick, and it's games like this that Dundee, nothing left to play for in the season. Just wonder if they'll have the drive to come back from the goal down. If they got the first goal with Giorgio Ephraim testing David Hutton, it might be a different case. But question Dundee's determination to recover. Clyde fighting for their First Division survival though. Eager to go forward at every opportunity, and here comes Willie McLaren again. Trying to square the ball across though, and Jim Laughlin there in the right place at the right time yet again. Jim Laughlin, Mr. Dependable, captain for the day. But it's going to be another corner kick to Clyde, and again the big men go up from the back. Brown, Higgins and Lithgow. Greg Tardy as well, making his way into the box. McLaren swings it in, and Rab Douglas claims it over the head of Greg Tardy this time and throws the ball right into the back there of Greg Tardy as he went away there. And saw a goal last season in the SPL, Alan Coombe throwing the ball into the back of Darren Mackey, and there doesn't really seem to be much in that. Rab Douglas maybe getting away with that one, losing the ball as he threw it. McLaren, the acrobatic ball forward there for Pat Clark. This time Pat Clark, he's not lightning quick, he's not Usain Bolt. Couldn't get in the end of that one. And Douglas, again, just lumps it forward, looking for a Dundee head to get in the end of it. But again, Clyde men in the right place at the right time. Kettlewell that time, nodding the ball right the way back to Rab Douglas. Now Laughlin. And now Malone. Chip forward into the corner. David O'Brien running down. Scott Gemmell's there over to give him a problem. He's twisting and turning. David O'Brien can't get away from Scott Gemmell though. Now Shinnie. He's managed to work the ball into the box, but Stuart Kettlewell at the back blocked the run, and Benedictus loses the ball in the air. Pat Clark putting the young defender under all kinds of pressure, and in the end McLennan comes away with it. Now challenging with David Cowan, but he takes down David Cowan and Ruby McLennan. Bit unfortunate that time, didn't look to be an awful lot in it. Dundee get the decision though. Now Young. Back over to Jim Loughlin. Now Shinnie. And Ephraim trying to work it back to the feet of the Scotland under-21 player. And Deasley fires it into the feet, and he's still going forward, Brian Deasley, and a bit unfortunate there. Battling hard in the corner against the two Clyde players and not getting the decision. There's going to be a goal kick to Clyde. Loughlin powers the header back towards Clyde defence. He'll get the chance to do it again. Again, getting the header on the ball. Now O'Brien, and O'Brien just heads up into there, and Scott Gemmell. Nodded back to Jim Loughlin. Now Malone. He's got McLaren and Gemmell chasing him down here. Eddie Malone still going forward. And Willie McLaren strong enough to win the ball off of him. And Benedictus just slipped but could recover in time there. Pat Clark ready to take advantage of any slip up by Benedictus, but Benedictus recovering well. Now Cowan. Now Loughlin, tardy, chasing down every player, and Dundee players not being given the time on the ball at the moment. Clyde chasing them down, not giving them the time on the ball. And so I wonder what a goal will do, because with the goal advantage, it's so easy to close players down. And McLaren going forward here with Eddie Malone, still going forward, Willie McLaren, but losing out in the 50-50 challenge with Eddie Malone. And it's going to be a goal kick to Dundee. And Willie McLaren could count himself unfortunate there, the ball bouncing up and not being able to get it under his own control. And Eddie Malone could just ease him off the ball and let the ball run behind. Cowan just puts his boot through it, lumps it forward again, aiming at McMenamin. Now Shinnie. Now Kettlewell almost picking it up with McMenamin. Shows a bit of drive, gets back over to the centre circle, wins up the ball. And now Dundee with a chance to build an attacking move. Here's David O'Brien running into the corner. Being forced to twist and turn again, David O'Brien. And this time, ball deflected away, and Scott Gemmell puts his boot through it, clears the Clyde lines. Benedictus just gives it straight to Willie McLaren, and Willie McLaren can run at this Dundee defence against, jinking past Jim Loughlin and firing it right at Rob Douglas. But a casual play there from Kyle Benedictus, giving the ball straight to Willie McLaren. Had this trickery to get past Jim Loughlin. Couldn't beat Rob Douglas, and now McMenamin trying to run down into the corner and put the Clyde defence on the back foot, but the ball goes all the way out for a throw-in. Clyde have the ball back, and at the moment, the way Clyde have started the second half, 15 minutes gone in it, could be more than the one goal up. It's looking so much more dangerous with the goal advantage. There's times like this that a manager asks why they can't have been playing like this all season, under threat of relegation as it is. And with the scoreline from Thistle Airdrie still goalless, and coupled with an Clyde win here, the gap would be just 2 points at the bottom going into the last day of the season. Now Malone. Now Shinnie And McMenamin tried to give the ball back to Andrew Shinney, but again, the Dundee link-up play just breaking down at the final opportunity, and Clyde can come away with it again. Clark jinking forward, past Benedictus, still going forward, Pat Clark, but Jim Laughlin again doing the captain's role at the back, sliding in there, winning the ball, and not taking the man. Perfect challenging at the back from Jim Laughlin. And Dundee have possession back. Malone running forward. Jojo Ephraim making the run down the near side. Malone wanting him to come towards him, and indeed he does now. Ephraim. Malone chipping it down into the corner. Mark Brown, though, coming across and firing the ball high into the stand, and Eddie Malone will restart the play from the throw-in. McMenamin getting turned and chipping the ball over to Brian Deasley at the far post, but the ball cut out before it got there, and now Chris Higgins can try and set up Willie McLeod, but Willie McLeod, he's offside with the ball forward from Higgins, and the man who's offside so many times in the first half, it's the first time he's offside in the second. Ephraim running forward past Tardy, still going forward. Jojo Ephraim working it over to Andrew Shinney. The lastest challenge from Alan Lithgow. Now Malone, Clyde defence, sitting in. Now McMenamin twisting away, trying to get a striker goal, and it's just bent all the way around the post in the end. Andrew Shinney it was with a strike. Colin McMenamin diving in at the end, clattering into the post. And that's the kind of determination Dundee will need if they're going to get back in the game, because at the moment they were goal down, and the way their season's going doesn't make a difference if they win or lose. Some of them could be quite happy to sit out the rest of the match. Colin McMenamin though sliding in there, taking the knock off the post, trying to get Dundee back in the game. Benedictus knocked forward, and now McLennan can pull it down. Now Tardy. Tardy not quite working the run out there this time with Ricky Waddle. Young fires it forward looking for Brian Deasley, and Brian Deasley holds up the ball and brings Andrew Shinney into the play. Now out to David O'Brien. It's a bit overhead for David O'Brien, but he's kept it in play on the near side. Scott Gemmell going across to challenge him. David O'Brien coming in field though. Now Shinney back out to Malone. Malone's battling with Pat Clark, helping out his defence there, and the referee's given the free kick again for obstruction, similar to the free kick the referee gave in the first half. Pat Clark catching the ball in between his legs, not letting Eddie Malone get away. And Dundee have the free kick. Andrew Shinney going to swing this one in with his right boot. Try and catch one of the Dundee heads. And he swung in the end. It's a free kick for the challenge. Kyle Benedictus, the man who has been penalised by the referee, shrugged the shoulders from the young defender, but that's the decision the referee's given. And we're going to see a substitution. And Mark Gilhaney, the man who's coming on for Dundee, David O'Brien, returning to the Dundee lineup today, coming off, and Mark Gilhaney, former Clyde player, one of many former Clyde players at Dens. Paul McHale, Craig McEwen missing out today. Eddie Malone scored against Celtic in that Scottish Cup tie a couple of years ago. Already on the field. And Malone had his hands all around Greg Tardy there. Play on, says the referee, and Brian Deasley will now try and chase down Chris Higgins, and it's been booted back forward there by Darren Young, but no Dundee player running on the end of it. Now Laughlin, who touches the ball back to Rab Douglas, and Pat Clark thought for a second they may have been in it, just too far ahead of them though. And Jim Laughlin can breathe again. And the sight of Pat Clark running in the end of that header back from Jim Laughlin would have made his heart stop. But just enough pace in the ball to take it back to Rab Douglas. Now Tardy. Scott Gemmell running outside him, but Tardy will opt to take it down into the corner himself. Malone and Ephraim closing him down, and Tardy tries to get the ball across and nip it off for a corner kick, but it's going to be a goal kick, says the assistant referee down on the near side, and Dundee get the play restarted. Cowan. Knocked forward again and goes out for a throw-in on the far side. And John Brown just having a wee word with the assistant referee there about the decision to give a goal kick there down on the corner. Now Laughlin, and Ephraim's got plenty of space to run into here if he can get there ahead of Lithgow. He does just that, coming back inside, and Ephraim goes for the strike himself, and David Hutton was going the wrong there, but he managed to get his footing, twist back, dive on the ball, and keep his clean sheet, the clean sheet that at the moment securing Clyde's first division survival. And Willie McLaren, again offside. Malone chip forward looking for Deasley, but Deasley's too short, can't get his head in the ball, and goes right the way through to David Hutton. Now Cowan looking forward, McMenamin trying to get in the end of it, can't get there, and Darren Young running forward, but Alan Lithgow clearing the ball away, wouldn't let Darren Young on the end of it, and a goal for Darren Young here would go some way to erase the memories of his red card debut here in the earlier meeting at Broadwood. Mark Gilhaney's picked up the ball though. Now McMenamin, and a great diving challenge there by Chris Higgins, nipping the ball away from Colin McMenamin, who's running into the box there with a fancy cutting the ball back for one of the other Dundee strikers. Kettlewell. And Willie McLeod just nods the ball back into the danger area. Now Andrew Shanae's picked it up. Now Young. Dundee being forced backwards but retaining possession. Now Cowan. Mark Gilhaney, who's beaten the offside trap there. And the cross from Gilhaney skipping all the way over. But Malone retrieves it on the near side. Getting the ball across. McMenamin can't get his head in the ball and is cleared away again. And Dundee, it's a case of firing the ball in this Clyde defence, trying to get an attacking header on the ball. But the Clyde defence fighting for their survival in this division, clearing away every time. This time Brown with a head away. FM trying to get this shot in the ball. Gemmell closing him down though. Young wins it back, forcing Clyde backwards through Gilhaney. Waddle though fires it away again. Now Benedictus. Now Laughlin and Dundee just finding a bit of space as Laughlin fancies running forward. Now Malone. Now Ephraim, but Scott Gemmell sliding in there, getting a touch on the ball, forcing it out for a throw-in. And we're going to see a substitution for Clyde this time. Former Scotland international Robbie Winters coming off the bench. Spent 5 years playing in Norway, dropped off the radar as far as Scottish football concerned, but he's back at Clyde at the moment. Making his 5th appearance for Clyde today, Robbie Winters, and 14-goal hitman for the season, Pat Clark, being sacrificed in place of Robbie Winters. And of course the Dundee fans well aware of Robbie Winters past in a tangerine jersey, and they'll be making sure he doesn't forget it. Now Malone trying to force the ball across, and Ricky Waddle will be watching it with Mark Gilhaney at the far side. Ricky Waddle, though, sticks to his task, gets his head in the ball, forcing Mark Gilhaney backwards. Gilhaney gets across, so McMenamin gets his foot on the ball and can only let it trundle through to David Hutton. Gemmell, chip forward, and Tardy might get in here. Benedict is still challenging with him. Robbie Winters waiting in the area, but Greg Tardy does enough to win the corner kick. And Willie McLaren, who swung that corner kick, took a deflection off Andrew Shinney on his way through into the back of the net. Willie McLaren again going across to take the corner kick, trying to put the ball on top of Rab Douglas, keep the ball at this end of the ground for Clyde. And swung in this time. Andrew Shinney gets ahead away from goal, but he's been fired back in, blocked by David Cowan. Lithgow heads it back in, but this time Rab Douglas claims it at the second attempt. Now Shinney. And Shinney's just gifted the ball right back to Scott Gemmell. Tame pass from the Scotland under-21 player. And the pass by Scott Gemmell, finding Robbie Winters, but he was halted before. And it's going to be a free kick to Clyde. Well, in fact, the free kick's been given for offside against Robbie Winters as he made his way through. He looked onside to me, but the flag went up. And his flag is the only opinion that counts. And Loughlin will take advantage and fire it back up towards the Clyde area. Gemmell going back to McLennan. And Robbie Winters gets his first touch of the ball, being forced backwards by Benedictus. Finding the space zone, chipping it forward, looking for the run of Willie McLaren going forward there, but Rab Douglas out and claiming the ball. Now Malone. And Malone tries to run right side the back of Greg Tardy, blocked though with his run, and Clyde will pick up McLaren. Now Winters, bringing McLaren back into the play there, but David Cowan picked up the loose ball and just hoofed it away. Lithgow again going for the header this time. Darren Young picks us up. And that ball forward by Kettlewell. Now finding Robbie Winters on the right wavelength there. The ball forward by McLennan. Robbie Winters closing down Jim Loughlin. And Jim Loughlin had to stick to his task there because Robbie Winters, locking behind him, would have had a clean run through there on Rab Douglas. A man with his goal scoring record in the SPL wouldn't have hesitated pulling the trigger. Now Shinney. And Tardy got his foot in there to claim the ball off Shinney, finding the ball across, and Willie McLaren this time going in and Rab Douglas. Douglas being forced wide, and Benedictus can't keep it out. And Willie McLaren, he's done it again. He made the delivery for the first goal. He scored the second goal. He got a goal against Dundee here at Broadwood. He's a man Dundee have hated the sights of this season, and he may have done just enough to secure Clyde survival. 2-0 here. They look all set for the 3 points. And Dundee look down and out. Question their determination to get back from a 1-goal deficit. Dundee, they certainly don't look like coming back from a 2-goal deficit. And Jockey Scott must be looking at his bench, the walking wounded as they've been called in the press, and just been wondering what they could do to change the match. And McLennan might make it worse for Dundee. Coming down on Rab Douglas. McLennan looking to square it, goes down under the challenge by Rab Douglas. The referee tells McLennan to get back to his feet, and McLennan so close to making it worse for Dundee. The Clyde physio striding from the dugout. And Rab Douglas, hard would have stopped there as he saw Ruby McLennan going down from the free kick. And Clyde so close to making it worse for Dundee. As it is though, scoreline remains 2-0. The physio taking the time over Ruby McLennan here. You just wonder, well, he's off the pitch now, and he was so close to the side of the pitch. It would be better to just ease him off. And Clyde will get the play restarted, but Clyde's so close to making it a really bad day for Dundee. 3-0 would have been insurmountable. As it is, 2-0 looks equally insurmountable. Gemmell holding off Malone. Now Lithgow. And now the man who's put Dundee to the sword today, Willie McLaren, not getting his pass this time with this time with Aaron Lithgow. Shinney nodded down and Tardy hoofs it away. Winters challenging with Lachlan. Now McLaren. Looks so lively today, certainly since the first goal went in. And since that first goal, Willie McLaren been so full of running down, chasing down everything. And as that boost has given Clyde the advantage here. Got a bit of luck with the first goal. Second goal though, McLaren chasing the ball down all the way, cutting the ball past Rab Douglas. And Dundee haven't heard an answer today. Clyde with just that extra determination. Waddle will try and get us underway again. Tardy holding off David Cowan in the corner, and Clyde will be quite happy keeping it there at the moment. Tardy still holding on to it and doesn't have to win the free kick. Winters getting the better of the two Dundee players. Robbie Winters still going forward, squaring the ball, and Clyde will strike again, but at this time the strike doesn't even go near the Dundee goal, doesn't go out of play in fact. Now Cowan. Now Darren Young, and he'll be wondering at the moment what was worse, his 1 minute sending off debut or this defeat today for Dundee. Only testing David Hutton the once through Giorgio Ephraim. It's been a quiet day for David Hutton. Cowan though, try and make it worse. Now McMenamin fancy the strike a goal, and this time held by David Hutton. Got two hands behind it. Comfortable stop there for David Hutton, but I was just saying how he had a quiet afternoon, and Colin McMenamin testing him there, and that's what Dundee have failed to do on regular occasions throughout the match. Now Gemmell. And Malone cutting the ball out there before McLaren could do further damage to Dundee. And McLaren, he will be claiming the first goal now. A bit of debate whether it will go down as a Andrew Shinney own goal. McLaren swinging the corner kick. And if he were to score another one here, he'll be claiming the hat-trick. He'll need to score first though, ask questions later. Here's Winters, trying to get turned, but Colin McMenamin coming across and claiming the loose ball. Sinead trying to get turned and fired Dundee back forward, and it's all gone very quiet inside Broadwood. Dundee fans sitting on their hands. Not much to shout about. A few of the fans left after seeing the second goal going in. I'm sure the rest of them there, over on that far side, will be thinking the same. When it'll be the best time to beat the rush on the way out. Cowan can keep the ball in play, and Clyde can maintain the attacking pressure. Cowan fires the ball forward, trying to exploit the pace of Dee's lane behind Lithgow, but Lithgow wins the header. Now Young, and Young hauled down by Stuart Kettlewell, but fair challenge. Greg Tardy there holding off Darren Young, and in fact, David Cowan it is, and the free kick going to David Cowan, pulling Greg Tardy back, and the quick free kick found Robbie Winters running into the box, and Kyle Benedictus coming back, getting his feet on it, and knocking it out for a corner kick. And Willem McLaren, the man who's done so much damage to Dundee, try and inflict some more as Adam Lithgow and Chris Higgins make their way up into the penalty area. Goes short though. Tardy fighting with Colin McMenamin over in the corner. Tardy quite happy to hold it up there, kill a bit of time. Tries to twist and turn away but concedes the goal kick. And Colin McMenamin eager to get on with the play. He's showing Jockey Scott that he's still fighting for this one. He's not going to give up the 3 points. I'm sure if you ask Jockey Scott, he might settle for just the one at the moment. 2 goals down, 5 minutes to play. Robbie Winters jinking past Jim Laughlin. Now McLennan. He's lost the boot. McLennan. He's still playing though. McLennan. Now Gemmell. Ephraim just takes the ball off the feet of Scott Gemmell though. McLennan will go across and retrieve his boot. Winters just invites the touch off Jojo Ephraim, and Clyde keep up the Dundee end of the pitch, the wrong end of the pitch as far as Dundee are concerned, and win the corner kick. McLeod left-footed going for that near post again, and the corner kick that proved so troublesome for the first goal here at Broadwood, inviting the deflection off Andrew Shinney. This time not catching out the Dundee defence. McLaren swings it again, this time right on top of Rab Douglas. Claims that one unchallenged. Now Cowan. And Gilhaney running around the outside of McLennan. Still coming forward, Mark Gilhaney. Just going to the side now. Darren Young. Decides to go down the other option. And now Laughlin. And Greg Tardy all the time closing down the Dundee defence, forcing them all the way back to Rab Douglas. Great running by Greg Tardy, but again, so easy to close down when you're 2-0 up. For Dundee, 2-0 down. Seems like a lost cause. Malone gets the ball away. Kettlewell down at the feet of Scott Gemmell, jinking past Darren Young, and a low ball through, and Jim Laughlin again showing how valuable he is at the back, cutting out the ball through. Robbie Winters in behind the Dundee defence. Jim Laughlin knew exactly where that ball was going though, cutting it out, not letting Robbie Winters through in it. But Clyde have the ball back. Waddle. Now Higgins. Tardy trying to work it around the corner to William McLaren. And just fighting a bit too hard there, Greg Tardy, for the referee. And it's going to be a free kick to Dundee. Darren Williams stripped and ready to come on at the moment. And just as Darren Williams is ready to come on, also Jim Laughlin with a bit of a cramp maybe. And Dundee physio coming on just now. And also Clyde warming up substitution as well. Connor Stevenson coming on for Stuart Kettlewell. And a big round of applause for Stuart Kettlewell. He's been terrific in the midfield today. And so many of the Clyde players have been terrific today. And indeed, as Jim Laughlin is the man who's going to come off, who was captain. And he's taken the captain's armbands off with him. And Darren Williams on to replace him. And here's Darren Williams getting his first touch of the match and giving it away. He's got it back though. This time Higgins gets it away. Now Darren Young. And now Gilhaney. Swinging it in left-footed Gilhaney, but Brown there getting it away. And Stevenson works it out to Waddle. Chip forward by Waddle, not finding anyone. Robbie Winters though, try and close down Cowan. And Douglas fires it away. And Clyde supporters will have one eye on the scoreline coming through from the game with Airdrie, knowing that a win here will be no good. A win for Airdrie. And Clyde are down regardless. Here's Gilhaney. Now Young. Tardy working hard, winning the ball back at David Cowan. Took a sore one there as he slid through, and David Cowan stayed down. And he's picked up an injury. David Cowan just he slid in there, getting the ball away from Greg Tardy. He's back on his feet now, almost up on his feet. But Clyde are also going to make a substitution. Dave Mackay, the man who signed from amateur football, coming on. And Willie McLaren, who will claim the first goal here today. Ball deflected off Andrew Shinney on his way through. He'll claim it regardless. No doubt about the second one though. Big round of applause for Willie McLaren. And Dave Mackay, the man who's come on to replace him. He had to score this season. And the ball just, time just ticking through now to stoppage time. But FM will try and swing it in and try and get a consolation goal. But David Hutton claims it and clutches the ball to his chest. He's kept a clean sheet today and is not going to give it up in the final minute. And fires it high away. Cowan nodding it back, and Gilhaney have to fight out with Waddle on the far side for the throw in. Now Williams. And now Deasley, who will look back on this match and know that he hasn't tested David Hutton at all. And a rare start for Brian Deasley, his first since Christmas. And he'll know it was a missed opportunity for him. Trying to show Jockey Scott he's worth a place in the team for next season. A goal today would have gone a long way to showing that. Well, final opportunity for Dundee. Gilhaney spotting the ball down from the free kick. Malone and Benedictus up from the back. Just Cowan and Williams staying back. Gilhaney gets across to the far post. Young knocks it back in, and Gemmell complete the clearance, twisting away from Brian Deasley and coming forward. Now Winters. And great running back from Brian Deasley, closing down the experienced striker. And Winters took a knock there as he went through from Kyle Benedictus. And the referee just showing him the motion, exactly what he did. It's a yellow card for the young defender. And Clyde have one final opportunity to put Dundee under more misery. Hasn't been a happy hunting ground in recent years for Dundee, only the one league victory at Broadwood. Never looked like getting it today. Gemmell, offside, getting the ball back from Connor Stevenson from the throw-in. And free kick cleared away for Eddie Malone. But for the Clyde supporters, won't know just yet. Airdrie scoring the goal. That means despite this victory for Clyde, 2-0 against Dundee, first division safety not guaranteed. And Dundee's poor record at Clyde continues for Dundee. Only